What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for continuing to tune into the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels, and we getting it in. It is the second live stream of 2023. We feeling absolutely phenomenal. We feeling great. Life is good. We got our sponsorships popping. We're going to go ahead and get those out of the way so we can get straight into the show. What up, though, everybody? I see y'all in the chat holding me down. What's good? What's good, friends and family? Listen, first things first, let me give a shout out to Tej Henley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. Make sure you tap into your Tej pack. If you have not signed up for Tej, make sure you get your free gift. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Secondly, the only thing I'm drinking outside of water. I was actually dipping into this a little bit earlier today. My Alpha energy drink. Or it's not even an energy drink. It's just a lifestyle company, right? And this junk is good. I couldn't keep Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit. He come here, he hang out, we interview, we do our thing. I couldn't keep him out of my stash, man. I told him, I said, the Alpha Juice Company, I said, y'all going to have to send me another stash, man. Y'all going to have to get the stash popping. Because I be having people in the studio, and instead of drinking a Red Bull, instead of drinking the Sprites, instead of drinking the Cokes and the Pepsis, and all of that other stuff, and, you know, they're going to still get their Casamigos and their Hennessy, and you know how we do, right? They still going to get all of that in. Rita is more of a Wolf of Reserve little, you know, type of chick. She drink like an old white man. But they've started replacing it with this. So this is what I'm going to ask y'all to do, because I lived with this for a month and a half prior to even signing on with the company. I am the only male content creator that is an endorser of the Alpha Juice Company. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to give y'all a discount. If you go to their website right now and you click the link that's in the description and you put in Anton, it'll give you a significant discount for you to be able to try it for yourself. And I'm telling you, you're going to get addicted to this positive growth lifestyle that has none of the problems and all of the benefits that come along with drinking anything outside of water. You want some flavor? You got it. You got the nutrients? Absolutely. And you definitely are rocking with a person that's endorsing it. So I would never attach my name to anything that's not ideal for you or making sure that I utilize it first and it's benefiting me. I've dropped 15 pounds, not necessarily because they touting the benefits that come along with it from a health perspective, but just because I've cut out all of the BS and I've started embracing something that's a little bit more positive for me. So the Alpha Juice Company is absolutely awesome. Make sure you go by their website, type in Anton for the discount code so you can tell them that Anton sent you. And then I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of. All right. So last but not least, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. I just dropped another Patreon exclusive. Y'all was on me about dropping this new interview that I dropped this morning. I dropped the Patreon exclusive video today, so it's absolutely lit. It was a lot of people that's right after I dropped it. It was almost like 40 different people that signed up back to back so they can get that game that came along with it. It's a crazy, crazy amount of game that's inside of that video. So if you're not a bag chaser, you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat for y'all to be able to tap in. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to get started with the show. Alvin S. says, Happy New Year, AD and Rita. Had an awesome time in Miami with you. Shout out to all of my bag chasers that showed up to Miami for the New Year's Eve meetup. Rita, Q and the bag chasers, the Q&A session with the brother from Houston was fire. I appreciate you always for keeping it 100. Yeah, we had some really, really interesting conversations. Thank you for the first super chat of the second day of the year. I appreciate you, Alvin. Thank you. D. Sauce says, Happy New Year, AD and the fam. I appreciate you. And then my love with the 10 ball that always has been holding me down, Janesta Coleman. I love you, love. She says, hello, brother Anton Daniels and the family. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you also, my friend. Yeah, we doing what we do. So, again, if you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Check into the Alpha Juice Company. That link is in there. Put in discount code. Put Anton in a discount code so that I can make sure that you're taken care of. And if you're not a part of the Tej family, get Tej Henley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We're going to make sure that you take care of on that front. Now, without further ado, now that you've hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, now that you've subscribed to the channel and turned on your notifications, we're going to get right into the video. I don't want to slow burn this. I know that it was a lot of content in it. I have not watched it ahead of time, but you guys sent it to me, so apparently it's Pearly Week, right? I'm going to jump right into this video because I had been yearning for an opportunity to be able to review another Hafeez video, but he hadn't been doing anything significant worth me talking about. So you guys sent this to me and said, Anton, why don't you evaluate whether or not Hafeez redeemed himself with round 2? Actually, this is round 3 because round 1 was a TKO from Coach Greg Adams. Round 2 was Hafeez jumping on the panel with Just Pearly Things on her show down in Dallas. And then live round 3, we had Just Pearly Things and Hafeez on Valutainment Money. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the video. We're not going to waste no time. Let's get into it. I love you guys. Let me just say that before we get started. I love you. I appreciate you. I think that you are absolutely, positively awesome. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get into that, and shout out to JC. And I'm going to read the super chats throughout the show. JC says, missed you out there, Anton. Had to get out early. Met a dope bag chaser and chopped it up. Shout out to Howard. It's a lot of people that be connecting. Even when they don't see me, even when they got to leave early before I even get there, a lot of people connecting and they stay connected. Make sure y'all tap into the Discord. That's a part of the Patreon. The link to the Discord is in any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. Before we get into this Hafeez conversation, what's up with Dana White? Somebody told me that Dana White, and let me go ahead and try to pull this up. Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. Said, yo, listen, Drip Game is on 10 this year. We not wasting no time. They don't know nothing about it. Y'all out there looking like Dusties. You got to keep it plain, keep it simple. You don't need no chains. You don't need none of that. Get you a nice timepiece. It don't have to necessarily be a Rolex Presidential. It don't have to be a sub and nothing like that. You can go get you an Omega. You can go get you a two-door. It's a lot of nice timepieces out there. You can go and get you a sub if you can find one, right? And you can get one for a decent price. Get a Shinola, get you an Apple Watch, mix it and match it. Just stay clean. You don't have to do a whole lot. You can stay clean, be cool, be calm, be collected, and then be fly on your way. But what's going on with Dana White? Somebody told me Dana White was out here putting paws on his wife. Before we get into it, let me see if I can find out what's going on with Dana White. Oh, man. What we got going on, Dana? See, Dana White, nightclub fight with his wife on New Year's Eve. Lamar Odom, sex, drugs, and the Kardashians. Let's see what we got here. That's him. They're going back and forth, it look like. Somebody got their camera out. Why is her head down? Hold on, Freaky Jason. Stop the press. Okay. Somebody told me that Dana White was out here apologizing for putting paws on a chick. For putting paws on his girl, his wife, or whatever like that, right? Let me stop the press really quickly. Did you see her cock back and hit my man? I don't know what they was arguing about. I'm not really sure what was going on. I do know one thing. Y'all know me. Why do we even have to have this conversation today, ladies and gentlemen? Why do we even have to have this conversation today, ladies and gentlemen? Did y'all see what she just did? Why is Dana White the one that's apologizing? I didn't even see what he did to her yet. Apparently that's to come. Did y'all see what he just did? Or what she just did to him? Yo, that's crazy. Hold on. I'm going to read the super chats in 1 second. I promise y'all. I got to rewind the video. Let me see if I can get a little audio popping here. This is supposedly New Year's Eve, right? She got her head in her hands, right? She got her head in her hands. Oh, no. Before we get into anything, because the way that they painted it when you guys sent it to me and y'all sent me this article y'all framed it in a way like, yo, did you see Dana White putting paws on this chick? That's what y'all sold it to me like. Y'all sold it to me like, yo, Anton, did you see Dana White putting paws on this chick? From what I see right here, let me turn the audio off because I don't want no music messing up what it is that I got going on. From what I see right here, I see a woman that cocked back and put her hands on a grown man. I see a woman that cocked back. She wasn't drinking an alpha energy drink because it would have put her in her femininity. Discount code Anton. That link is in the description. I seen a woman cock back and hit a man. Let me get that one more time before I see what his reaction was. And look at that. And she work out. And he had tried to like hold her hand to try to prevent it from happening before she did it. He tried to hold her hand. You can tell that this is possibly not the first time that she didn't ever hauled off. She just too comfortable. She was too comfortable, and you can tell that she is normal. This is normal behavior, and that she feels comfortable enough to hit him because she just hauled off and whacked him right across the face, and he was kind of trying to brace forward and hold her hands prior to her doing it. Listen. Before we even get into what Dana White did as a result of it, because I haven't seen it yet. I'm reacting to it in real time. I'm watching it just like you guys. Before we get into it, I got a couple different things. A, keep your hands to yourself. I can't really say what I want to say because Anton has a much bigger platform, and I'm trying to do things the right way in which we can ensure that we stay monetized over here. Keep your hands to yourself. I am not the one to ever raise your hand against if you are a woman. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my daughter. I don't care if you're my mother. I don't care if you're my wife. Keep your hands by your side and to yourself. Don't put your finger in my eye doing all of that. Don't pretend like you're going to try to hit me because I might just instinctively haul off and mollywop you. Don't push me. Don't touch me. Don't do nothing. As a matter of fact, I don't even believe in going back and forth and arguing. I don't believe in going back and forth and arguing with people. I don't. I'm not the one. I'm not interested. I don't even believe in that level of confrontation. I believe in good vibes, good energy, having a good time. If we get to the point ever, and this is one of the reasons why I believe in marriage being a opportunity to live in bliss and to do it successfully versus all of this other junk y'all got going out here. If you feel comfortable enough to haul off and hit me and we're out in public and I'm a public figure, listen, we ain't even gotten to the idea of just you doing it as a normal person. You doing this in front of people, knowing that somebody possibly got their camera out like they was and that was ready to sell it to TMZ on New Year's Eve with all of their cameras, and you decided to act the fool and haul off and hit me. So now that we've seen how it started, look, he putting his hands to try to brace for it, trying to hold her arms. She playing for it. He ain't even really hit her like that. He gave her a love tap. I thought he was going to give her the knuckle sandwich. He gave her a love tap. He gave her a little love tap. Listen. Girl, don't put your hands on me. Get off of me. Look, and now she want to get belligerent and get crazy. Look at her. Throwing stuff. Now you got to take your shoes off. You got to throw it at me and all of that other type of stuff. No. You should have kept your hands to yourself in the first place. All he gave her was a little... He gave her a little alpha juice company tap. He gave her a little tap. He better than me. He better than me. You know, listen, if anybody has watched the Lapeef Network and this conversation has come up, you know that Anton believes that, what did Aaron say? Equal rights, equal lefts. Equal rights get equal lefts. Anton is not the one. He gave her a little love tap. Like, girl, and she knew it was coming. That ain't even no big deal. Look at the little love tap. This is lovers. These are lovers. Girl. Anyways, Dana White apparently has come out and apologized and said you can't come back from hitting your wife. Can she come back from hitting you? That's really the question. Man, listen, when it gets to the point to where people got to start putting their hands on folks, I'm out. Count me out, boss. Let me go get my Alpha Energy drink. Discount code Anton is in the description, along with the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm gone. Let me read a couple super chats, and then we're going to get into the debate. I haven't seen it yet. Alvin S. says, Jesus Christ. Alvin S. says, Happy New Year, AD and Rita. Had an awesome time in my... Oh, yeah, you already said that. My bad. Thank you anyway. Thank you again. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, Dana dealing with a woman he has to tame. Dealing with a woman he got to hit. That's what he gave her a little love tap, though. Thank you for the super chat, the 2-ball. My dog, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back, said she slapped him first in the story. She would have got the haymaker of her life. She would have never recovered from that. I was defending myself, boss. Mr. P says, Happy New Year's. I read Winning, Body Language, The Art of Speed, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's Napoleon Hill. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Mr. P, for holding me down and contributing to the platform and making sure that we continue to cook up. Let's get into this Hafeez Baoku. What is that last name? Is that Nigerian or something like that? Hafeez Baoku. And Just Pearly Things on Soul's Cast. And I want to see what this debate is all about. Let's get it popping, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fast forward.
Romance, okay? And today, it's not about me. It's not about even these guys right here. It's about the audience. The audience has been asking to have Pearl and Hafeez round two.
Have we?
I feel like it's like Apollo Creed.
I didn't even know that Hafeez would show back up.
But I don't even think it's that much beef.
I'm gonna read the super chat shortly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for holding me down.
On this show, the basic premise is to have discourse. We want to have conversations. 90+% of our audience are men, so we want to help men improve their status. We want to see men get paid, laid, and do it their way. This is what we do here. But on today's episode, for those of you that are tuning in, thank you for being here. Give a like. I think, what do you always say at the beginning of episodes? Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
And
right
ring
there.
that notification bell.
Ring that notification bell. So I thank you for that.
Fast forward.
I feel like on this episode, so this is great. By the way, if you're not familiar with these two, you're just logging in, subscribing. Thank you for being. You know him from the Roommates. Obviously, your gloves right now.
Get with how it blew up, so I do think it's admirable that you came out.
Of course.
She gave him the admirable speech. Listen, considering everything that happened prior to this particular interaction, it is admirable that you showed back up, considering that I mopped the floor with you the last time that we had a conversation. Okay. I see you, Pearl. Let's continue.
Anything that you want to say or establish or set the ground rules or anything like that?
Of course. Nah, first and foremost, man, I just want to thank Adam, man. Adam's my guy for facilitating this conversation. I think what we need more in today's society is conversation. I also want to shout out Pearl for being willing to have this conversation. I think sometimes when there's misunderstandings and miscommunications, it's very easy to kind of demonize the other side. But to be willing to.
So basically, that was him apologizing without apologizing. He said, "I was an asshole on the last time that we had a conversation." Thank you, Pearl, for showing back up so that we can have this debate again. Hopefully, I can redeem myself. And I'm pretty sure that he rewatched that last show and all of the reaction shows along with it at least 10 times. So I'm assuming that he coming in here armed, ready, and ready to light it up. Okay, Hafeez, let me get a great presentation and execution, my friend.
It's very admirable of you, and I'm very excited about the conversation today. So, Pearl, thank you so much.
That's awesome. Respect. And again, I'm here to.
Okay, we don't want to hear that part.
From a conversation to a lot dialogue about you, even like behind the scenes, you're like, yo, what up, bro? Like that's you.
Yeah.
So having passion is a great thing. So let's start with you. If you can kind of give a summary of what you think happened last time, what do you think happened? And then what would you want the haters to know about what happened?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing that I was not going into it thinking of a debate. You know, Pearl reached out to me about doing a collaboration, and so there was no winner. Like I wasn't trying to win or anything.
Oh, yes, you were, sir. See, this is what happens when you get a male chameleon. A male chameleon. It's the same thing because Pearl wasn't actually, if you look at the last time that they actually had a conversation, Pearl wasn't actually trying to debate him. She was just trying to get his insight based off of how it is that he's supposed to move as a married man, how he feels about relationships, whatever, so on and so forth. She actually had gave him props. He came into it looking like he had something to prove, and then it went that other way.
Like that. I think there was a lot of miscommunication. I think there was a lot of misunderstanding. I think a lot of us talking over one another. And so
talking over her, not talking over one another. But come on, man, this is what we doing early. I don't want to even break it down this early. I want to kind of hear what it is that he had to say.
Really hoping that today we can be able to clarify those things, but I just feel like the previous conversation was just one big miscommunication on both sides.
Gotcha.
No,
So
no. Listen, family, when you apologize or when you start to be accountable for your action, this is not the way that you do it. You go in and you say, you know what? I didn't communicate as effectively as I should have. I probably overtalked you a lot more than I wanted to. You know, and it was just a bad display of character, but I'm evolving and I'm growing and I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. I'll reassess my behavior. I'm going to come in and do it a little bit differently. That's how you start to gain the audience in a debate. I'm not going to give y'all my debate tactics. However, the point that I'm making is, and maybe I'll do a debate video on a Patreon to help y'all to understand how to debate more effectively. The point that I'm making is that it's disingenuous.
Say to the haters that were like, nah, that's it. Hafeez, I thought I liked you, but nah, that's it. Like any of those guys. I mean, listen, if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. But what would you say to those people who are kind of talking smack about you?
The reality of life is that all people can do is try their best to represent themselves. You know, people, when the late Kevin Samuels passed away, I said people aren't who they are on their best days, neither are they who they are on their worst days. They are who they are on most days, which is a human being trying their best. And so my desire is, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. Whatever you believe about me, but I'm just here to simply communicate to help the most men possible, because at the end of the day, what matters the most in today's conversation is men winning. So that's what it's all about.
Love that. So, Pearl.
But what if you lead men down a path of destruction, thinking that you actually helping them, but you hurting them? Shout out to Marcus Evans says, what up, bro? He lost round 2. Did he? He lost this one too? We're going to find out. What up to my dog, Hugo in the building. Happy New Year, Anton, New York Eves meetup with the Bag Chasers was awesome. Was great getting to kick it with you and Rita and Q. Shout out to Hugo, my dog. Everybody be at the Bag Chasers events. I'm going city to city just like I did last year, and it's going to be bigger and better than it was last year. Shout out to Hugo for holding me down with the 2023 super chat. I see you, big dog.
Did I talk over you in that conversation?
Right.
In regard to
No, you said we talked over each other. Did I talk over you?
So in regards to the conversation, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't went back and rewatched it, but I did know there's a lot of miscommunication.
Oh, my God. What a cap. He said he has not went back and rewatched it. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. This is what we doing? Let me throw this in a circle. Throw that A in a circle. Throw that A in a circle. Yo, this is what we doing today? I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't go back and watch it. Come on, man. I love my performances. Sometimes I have it on the big screen looking at it like I wasn't just the one doing the performance. Sometimes when I get off the live stream, I jump right into looking at my performance like, man, I was cooking today, wasn't I? Come on, man.
But I think the biggest thing is that we're here today to be able to move forward, and that's what I really want to focus on.
So my question to you is, so give me your perspective. What happened? What did you expect to happen? Like, and then what in reality, what did happen? Give me your expectations versus reality.
Yeah, I actually expected to agree with you on most stuff. I didn't expect it to be a debate at all either. I just found it hard to like get a word in, to be honest. And a lot of times I would try to talk, and I didn't really. I felt like I couldn't talk on my own show.
Well, listen, I mean, shout out to what we're doing here. This
Yeah.
is why you have a moderator and an arbitrator and a host to make sure that we have equal opportunity to speak. So you're going to have just as much time as Hafeez to speak today. So you go. What did you want to say last time that you weren't able to say if you're saying that he was speaking over to you? What do you think?
I would say it was more of a question. Would you say, so you said you don't disagree, or you disagree with the red pill's description of marriage. I was just curious, why?
Okay, so why do I personally disagree with the red pill and then disagree with marriage? For anybody watching this, one of the
Wait, because can I ask one more thing? I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah,
I'm
you're good.
sorry.
Yeah, you're
I'm
good.
sorry.
You're
I
good.
know I cut you
Go
off.
ahead, yeah.
But like, do you think that what they're saying about the laws is untrue?
No.
Okay.
No, 100%. For anybody watching this today, I'm gonna be.
Let me tell you what he's going to say. Can I predict what he's going to say? I have not watched this. I have not seen it at all. Let me tell you what I think he's going to say. He's probably going to say, listen, I don't necessarily disagree with what it is that they're describing or their experiences. Everybody's experience is their experience when it comes to the laws and, so on and so forth, right? But how come we don't talk about the positive aspects of marriage? How come we don't talk about this? That's the narrative that he's gonna paint and that he's gonna spin. But that's just my prediction.
Trying to quote as many statistics as possible. My desire is to present the information. The people can do with it whatever they want. So if you guys go to the Roommates YouTube channel, go to the community tab, there's going to be statistics that I'm going to quote. I want people to criticize it, scrutinize it, pick it apart, because at the end of the day, it's about the information that helps men. So Natalia, if you don't mind, can you go to the document that I shared you, Data for Men?
Did this dude bring his own data and statistics in a PowerPoint presentation? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Yo, this is too much, man. It's not an authentic conversation. Let me tell you why I like conversations over debates. Conversations tend to be a lot more conducive and a lot more fruitful when it comes to what it is that we're trying to solve for. Because it's open to the possibility that I'm wrong. It's not coming in trying to prove me wrong. It's not coming in trying to redeem yourself. It's just being real authentic, giving a great show, having great conversations, and giving your true authentic sentiments, not necessarily say the right thing. So coming in with a PowerPoint presentation is wild. That's wild, yo. The PowerPoint presentation is extra, is wild. It's too much. I'm not feeling it. I'm not rocking with it. I can't get with it. None of that. No way, shape, or form. Let me get to some of these super chats before we deep dive into this, because this is about to be a lot of word salad. Shout out to Gore. He says, Happy New Year, Anton from Rocky 4. Throw the damn towel. Throw the damn towel.
About marriage benefits for men. So the first thing that I've heard communicated is that marriage has zero benefits for men. And if it's true that marriage has zero benefits for men, that's true, and we need to talk about that. But according to statistics in a Harvard study, there are many benefits in marriage for men. For example, married men have lower mortality rates.
I told y'all what was going to happen. He's doing it without doing it. He's saying, no, I don't disagree with him. But how come they don't? I literally just told y'all what his argument was going to be. How come we don't talk about the benefits that come along with it? And so this is literally what he's doing. This is what he's doing. Now, when you start to parse through the data, and I'm going to see what he says, I'm going to pay attention to the body language. I look at it a little bit differently than some other people. That was going to be his argument. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that was what's going to be his argument.
Married men have lower depression rates, lower Alzheimer's rates, lower decreased cancer deaths. If you scroll down a little bit in the tally, if you don't mind, optimal home life to be able to raise their children, and married men earn more money. There's additional statistics as well. So there are benefits for a man today when it comes to marriage. In regards to some of the challenges, you're 100% right. There are challenges and there are issues, and we need to address them and solve them. But there are benefits for men today, and I want men to know the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to marriage.
And just to be clear here, because
now here's the problem with his argument, right? Is because he's just saying there's benefits to marriage, and then he rattled off a bunch of statistics without understanding the context behind it, right? For example, I can pick apart this argument very, very easily. And I'm a person that not necessarily is saying that I'm advocating for marriage, but I advocate for people to be successful in whatever it is that they choose to do. So if you decide that you as a man want to go down this path of marriage, I'm going to give you the pros. I'm going to give you the cons. I'm not just going to say get married because lower mortality rate, possibly lower cancer, whatever, so on and so forth, right? We're not going to do that. The problem with that, the problem with this argument in a general sense, right, is that it's so easy to take each individual talking point and pick it apart with context, right? So, for example, I can say that the numbers skew way higher for people that have a significant amount of resources or make over $250,000 combined per year than the number of people that skew way lower. And then he said men that are married. Okay, does that also include men that were married and got divorced? It's too many question marks to just leave it as a blank statement and for that to be your opening line. Men that are married. Does that also include men that are divorced? And how does that form or factor in to whatever statistics that you spewing? Because then we could just say the men that are divorced goes all into the single pile, right? Of course, a man that is married is going to be doing significantly better than men that are single, especially if you factor in men that are single as it relates to divorce, because they all go into that same pile because they're no longer married. And how much of his resources did he have to give over to the woman? How much child support then played into how his net worth was affected? How much did he have to give in alimony? How often does he get to see his kids? Do we then start to take into consideration how those kids are affected now being raised in two different households? What about a woman weaponizing a child against a man? Did you go into it with a prenuptial agreement? And this is why it's very difficult to hear a lot of these people speak, because they're not adding context. They're just leaving it as a blanket statement. And they think that just because they can cite Harvard, that substantiates their argument. It doesn't. And then how many people did they poll? And then what exactly data points did Harvard use in order to be able to substantiate this argument? And did they also have additional context and additional information in this study to then also speak to single men? Are single men that weren't married then start to be a little bit more successful than single men that did get married? Single men that stayed single the entire lives, are they more successful than divorced men? Are single men that stayed single their entire lives more successful than divorced men? What about single men that chose not to have kids? Do we also factor that into it? Because I would imagine that their net worth is significantly more. You can say single women that chose to not have kids are much more successful than married women that chose to have kids. That's a data point, right? Because we're not just going to look at it just from the men's perspective. We're going to look at it all the way across the board. My point is that in order to be able to substantiate this argument, it takes a lot more context and a lot more insight. And I don't think that he's accurately providing a real solution for men that are looking to get married or men that are looking to not be divorced. Both matter. Make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. Discount code Anton. That link is in the description. And then make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get into this, y'all.
We're going to go through a whole range of topics. Okay. So you're going to be doing more answering than questions, but that's fine. You asked a question. Yeah. I think it's important to establish you're married, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've been married for how long?
Over a year.
Okay, so you're married. So okay, and you're single. We talked about this yesterday.
I'm gonna read the super. I'm reading super chats throughout the show, y'all.
Chill out.
Well, we are talking about marriage right here. So, I guess let me give you guys some stats, and then we'll kind of open up for dialogue. So, marriage in Western society is definitely on the decline. There's a quote from the New York Times saying that the married will soon be the minority, right? And usually people will get married all over time.
That's a
It's
fact.
also no secret.
I think that
talked
the
about
married
this
is already a
yesterday,
minority.
that men tend to be the big losers in the court system, especially when a divorce
That's a fact
happens
also.
in marriage, okay? So it's not an all bad thing. It's not an all good thing. Like there's benefits to marriage. There's pros. There's cons.
Just like everything.
Is your question saying? Are you basically saying the red pill props up marriage, or basically disses marriage, saying that there's no benefit to it, and a man should not get married? Is that essentially what you're saying about the red pill? And you're essentially saying no, there are benefits. Like, give me your full scope of your argument.
Yeah. So
I don't. Before you even answer, I don't even believe that that's what the red pill is saying. The red pill is saying that this is how it is that you need to be aware of what it is that you're dealing with when it comes to women. Now, somebody actually asked me this question, and they said, Anton, do you consider yourself to be a part of the manosphere? I don't consider myself to be anything. I think that people group people based off of whatever it is that they identify in them that they can relate to or that they're entertained by. So if somebody throws somebody in a red pill, or I heard it's a purple pill and a black pill and a blue pill and all of this other type of shit, cool. I'm with that. Do whatever it is that you want to do. If I'm by association a part of the manosphere, whatever. But to then throw a blanket statement on something to say that one group of people believe this specific way, that's not necessarily true either.
the full scope of the argument is that I agree. Pearl talked about some of the laws today, and I hope you get into the statistics. Men need to know about the bad, the ugly, and the terrible laws going on today.
And you don't
We
talk
need to
about that,
address those.
Hafeez,
So the bad and
at all.
ugly we need to talk about. But there are good things about marriage, and there's a lot of statistics that we'll go through today about the benefits. So my biggest thing is that if the red pill is telling the truth is the good that's happening, the bad that's happening, and the ugly that's happening. So my biggest issue is that when we're not communicating, we're only communicating the bad and the ugly, and removing the good, you're not communicating the full truth for men.
Is that what you think? Is that
But that's not a good argument, because people can only speak to their specific experiences. So, for example, if you take the lead attorney, and the lead attorney is a 20-year family court lawyer, and his experience in seeing how people get took through the ringer, and he's never been married, and so on and so forth, because he states his background and he shares his information, then he's going to share it from his experience, and you can't take that away from him. Now, you can't expect the lead attorney, for example, to sit here and talk about all of the benefits that come along with family court law. Yeah, for the lawyers and the judges and the system, but he's going to speak about it from the perspective of what it is that he's seen. If I grew up in a hood, right, and all I've known is drug dealing and crack cocaine and prostitutes and children that's getting taken and all of this other type of stuff, you can't expect me to describe to you this happy-go-lucky environment that I've never grown up in, because one of the things that we like to talk about in these conversations, in these spaces, is who are you to be able to tell me whatever it is that you're telling them, because what makes your opinion valid and worth listening to, which is why I live my life like an open book. I'm not going to tell you something from a perspective that I know nothing about. If I'm outside, I'm going to tell you what I see outside. If I'm married, I'm going to tell you what it means to be successfully married and blissful. If I've coached guys and they've been getting divorced, I'm going to tell you the reasons why they tell me that they've been getting divorced, because A, B, C, and D, right? I'm going to give you my real life experience, but you can't expect a group of people who are jaded, broken, got took through the ringer, and is still fighting their baby mama in order to be able to see their kids, to tell you the benefit of something that's been nothing but painful for them. Which is why you're here, Hafeez. The only problem with this argument is that Hafeez don't articulate himself well enough to actually be able to sell you marriage if he's an advocate for it. Because Hafeez also does not talk about the other side of it. He does not give you and paint you a picture about all of the problems that come along with marriage. I don't see that from him. The same thing that he's holding somebody else accountable for, and this is why I say you need everybody to have a different platform, and depending on where people are in their life, they're going to find the thing that they're going through and then better be able to get the information from it. So You tap into the person that means the most or makes the most sense for you. However, if the person that you tap into is ineffective and they can't sell you on what marriage means to them because you're looking to get married and then they do a very bad job, such is the way. Let me read a couple of these super chats and show y'all some love. Shout out to Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves says, Happy New Year. Appreciate all you do, bag chasers. Shout out to Michael Reeves. I appreciate you. My dog, the accountability partner with the Fat Ball, says, just showing some support. You always hold me down, big dog. I love you. And my dog, Brock, been supporting me all last year. Is still going into the new year doing the same thing with the Fat Ball. I appreciate you, Brock says. Pass a love offering. He always hit me with the same one every time, and I appreciate that. Consistency is something. Yo, I appreciate every super chat. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top, as well as the Alpha Juice Company. Get your discount code. Put in Anton. Get a significant amount off. It is the only thing I'm drinking outside of water.
Is that, I guess, the perspective from the red pill is that marriage is not a good thing. Like the reason that you're asking, you had one thing to ask him and you started with marriage. I assume that's that's
what we talked about a lot
okay,
last
well, I
time,
assume that's
yeah.
a major thing you want to address. So from your perspective, what is Hafeez not recognizing?
Have you heard Rollo say that men and women are better together than they are apart? Because
You said, have I heard Rollo say what?
he says that men and women are better together than they are apart.
Correct.
Okay.
If they are
I think
able
a
to
lot
do
of
it
guys
effectively.
believe in the institution of marriage, just not the legal side of it.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
like I just don't think that's true. I think they say there's no benefits like legally, not like as an institution.
So unpack that a little bit.
So I'm saying like
So basically what she's communicating is that men or women are better together than they are apart. We all are better together. We stronger together if we can do it the right way, A. That's the additional context. But B, based off of how the laws are set up today and they're archaic, which is one of the reasons why feminists advocate against updating family court laws, it does not suit today's marriage and today's environment that makes it conducive for a man to then legally jump into the institution of marriage. Being together and being married is two different things. Under what law and under what governing body will we then be partaking down this journey, and how is it going to affect me from a positive or a negative perspective? That's the context. Man, I need to be up on these panels washing these people. I need to be up on these panels cooking.
men and women are better together. Marriage is a good thing, but the way it's set up today just doesn't benefit men. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. 90% of men don't get custody of their kids in a divorce.
Right. We talked about that
Yeah.
yesterday. These are just stats, not my opinion. Women initiate 70% of divorces. That goes up to 90% if they're college educated. Women get the kids 90% of the time. They was it 90% of the time they're getting the ones getting alimony. I don't have those exact stats we talked about yesterday. But with anything, there's risk and reward. With anything.
What up, though,
I don't
chat?
care.
I appreciate y'all. I see y'all up in there cooking up. Let me also say that I'm going to be reading super chats and cash apps throughout the day, so I appreciate y'all.
If it's driving a car, I don't care if it's getting married, I don't care if it's going swimming, if it's working out, if it's going out partying and drinking, there's risk and reward. So you're basically saying, hey, cool, I got married, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout out to all of my Detroit people, the ambassador of Detroit. I see you rocking with me.
there's the major reward to it. I recognize the risk, but obviously the reward outweighs the risk.
And my question to you, Pearl, is do you personally, Pearl,
How come he doesn't actually ever address the question that the moderator says, and he jumps right into whatever it is that he got pre-planned to say?
believe that there's any benefits for men to get married today?
Legally?
No, in general.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Like, again, men and women are better together. I mean, my parents are married. I'm really thankful for having two parents in the home. I just think from a legal perspective, like, if I was a guy, I probably wouldn't get married legally.
So you're saying that there is benefits that men have to being married today?
Tell the Truth Nation. I usually don't highlight anything that's outside of a super chat, but Tell the Truth Nation says, Anton, you got to get with Pearl on this shit to check them simps. Jaffas thought he could only bully old Pearl. You know, the interesting thing about it is that the next interview that I drop inside of the Patreon is an exclusive with me and Pearl, and that we talking back and forth about it. And Pearl has her 101st show that she's dropping this month. Will be me, lead attorney, and two women on the panel. So We did connect when we was in Miami. We do plan on doing a lot more things together, so you can look forward to that. Shout out to D. Got Sauce. D. Got Sauce is in the building. Says, thanks for rocking the brand in Miami. Absolutely. If y'all not familiar, make sure y'all go and check out some of my Miami videos. I got some dope merch. Hey, D. Got Sauce. Drop that link inside of the description or inside of the chat for your brand, because you got some very, very dope clothes. And I told Rita this morning, I said, tell them to send me some more stuff so I can rock that.
From not from a legal
Yeah,
perspective.
so not from a legal, there is benefits. Can you name a few of them if you don't mind?
So this is a real debate. He going into it the same way that he went into the last one. He's just a little bit more composed because he don't want to seem like an asshole.
Okay. I liked having 2 parents in the home. I think that's good. I think commitment is good. And
How does that benefit men? So I want to be specific with you. So you said,
well, how it benefits men in having 2 parents in a household is that it allows for your kids to be a lot more successful, less dependent, less likely to go to jail, more forthcoming, and more successful financially, because it is a statistical. It is a statistic that shows that kids that are raised in 2-parent households are much more likely to be successful financially. It gives stability. It is less likely for you to need a therapist. You also have more likely to have spiritual connections and have a foundation that allows for you to be able to grow and then be equally yoked for whoever it is that you wind up marrying. You also have the ability for the person or your father to then be able to showcase to you the man that you're supposed to look for, because a woman in general either marries a man like her father or they look for a father figure, which is one of the reasons why they say that women have daddy issues when they get into new relationships, and then they start trauma bonding instead of coming into it 100% whole and then fruitful. So just from that perspective alone, man, I would watch this conversation all day long. Just from that conversation, that question alone, that is one of the benefits of marriage, because men tend to look at their kids as a part of their legacy. And if you want to have a great legacy, if that's how you identify legacy, then you also want to have a strong family structure that gives that nurturing environment to the children that you then raise. For that specific question.
men, not legally, of course, but there are benefits for men today when it comes.
And this is the difference between a conversation and a debate. How come he don't want to debate no real dudes? I'm a married man. I've been married probably 18 years longer than him. How come he don't want to have no conversation with Tom Dog? I hit him up. He was like, I ain't about to respond to Tom Dog.
To marriage, can you share some of those benefits?
Yeah, if they pick the right girl, I think having a support system is good. But that's also dependent on if they pick the right girl.
Of course, 100%.
I think that having someone, I don't know, I just think it's better to like have someone by your side.
Of course.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things, and I really appreciate you sharing that, Pearl, is I want to clarify something that I may not have communicated properly.
Oh, wait, somebody in the chat said that he didn't get a prenup. He didn't get a prenup? Hafeez didn't get a prenup. So he married a woman and he didn't get a prenup. And he's newly married after he already became successful. Oh, man, this is a setup 2 to 3 years from now for the lead attorney to be doing a live stream as soon as those divorce court papers come out. God forbid the divorce court papers come out. This is a setup for him to go down, down, down. Red team going down.
There's certain things I stand for. I want to see men have money in their pockets, a family by their side, and respect on their name. I've been talking about that theme. And I believe those are good things for men. Anything that I see trying to take that away from men, any bad idea, that's what I'm against. So I'm not against any individual person. I'm against any idea that I personally believe hurts the lives of men. So I want to clarify as we continue to move forward. I'm never against any individual person. I want to see every single man have the best life possible. One of the things I loved about Pearl before the show started, she was talking about her dad. Her dad's like a freaking rock star. The compliments, the encouragement, like just her as a woman, like by having an amazing father really benefited her life. I want to see more women have fathers like Pearl. I want to see more men become fathers like her father was. And so any idea that helps men, I love it. And any idea I think that hurts men, I'm against it.
10 kids in the
That's
Pearl
crazy.
household.
And which one are you, by the way?
Oh gosh, it depends how you count it. I grew up with six. I was the second to six, and then they adopted three teenagers later. And then I actually had a brother at 22. They gave up for adoption when my mom was 17. So I didn't find out about him until I was older. But out of the original six I grew up with, I was second.
Okay.
You were the second oldest, second youngest?
Second oldest.
Oh, wow.
Well, third if you count the brother that didn't.
Of course.
That's why I say, how do you count
crazy.
it? How do you count it?
Beyond ridiculous.
Yeah.
10 kids. Respect to I don't even know your last name. Someone asked me, he goes, Adam, what's Pearl's last name? I go, I think it's Things. What is your last name?
Davis.
Yeah.
Pearl Davis. There it is.
Yeah.
The name you know. We just established two things. That two things can be true at once. That there's a lot of
Questions. You're a lifelong learner, and you've talked to a lot of individuals in the red pill space. In your personal opinion, I'm just curious, do you feel as though they're sharing some of the benefits as well, or do you see a lot of red pill content creators primarily talking about the issues and rarely skipping over the benefits?
That's a good question, and I respect to the red pill community. I think is a necessary voice. I also think that you're a necessary voice. I think just like if it's a Republican or Democrat, like too much of one thing is not a good thing. I'm a moderate in that regard, so I have a lot of respect for the red pill space.
Is this guy right here? Is he married?
And I don't, this isn't my opinion. This is what I hear. This is the feedback I get, because I used to only talk about money, okay? And like, save that money, improve your money. And then I had a discussion with PBD. He's like, dude, you've been in nightlife in Miami for 20 years. Why don't you talk about dating and relationships? Like, all right, Pat, fine, we'll do it. So I have a lot of people that come up to me, especially friends that I've known for years, or like, since when are you a relationship guy, bro? And I'm like, all right, well, this is what we're doing. And the comments that come to me about the red pill space, these are not my thoughts. Don't clip this up and say that Adam is anti-red pill. The comments that people say to me are, hey, that's great.
So he's not married with no kids, been dating with the Miami nightlife for 20 plus years, which means that he's over 40 years old. But he's a moderate. No, he's on the side of the dudes that's saying that, yo, I don't want to get married. I don't want to risk my wealth. I want to do what it is that I want to do, which I agree with them. I think that once you grow past a certain point, listen, let me say this. If me and Rita, God forbid, if something ever happened to Rita and I become single, right? Because I'm never getting divorced, let's be clear. So let's just say worst case scenario, anything ever happened, right? Shout out to the Alpha Juice Company and the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If I was to ever be divorced at 40, 41 years old, right? With the amount of resources that I have, I am the type of person that would just be so focused on my grind, my hustle, enjoying my life and raising my daughter, that I don't think that I would even have time for a relationship. So I've largely leaned into the idea that I can't imagine myself ever focusing or bringing somebody into the fold that is even remotely of the caliber of Rita. I'm not interested. I don't want to, or whatever. I've accumulated too much. I got too much to risk. I'm not having any more kids. So that is a major factor when it comes to determining whether or not I need a wife, because, having a wife, part of the requirement is needing a really good mother and that stability, which I've provided for her to be a great mother to my daughter. My daughter's 14, about to be 15 in high school. She don't need no more guidance as far like a little kid. So it's a lot of other reasons that I could state, but I can't imagine, not saying that I'm completely closed off to anything, but I can't imagine that I would ever consider or even entertain the possibility of getting married or even being in a relationship. If anything was to ever happen to my baby girl, Rita, that's my heart. I'm not interested in talking to nobody else. I'm not interested in kicking it with nobody else. I'm not interested in bringing anybody else into my life. I only got to ask for one person. That's Rita. That's my wife. It's the only person I'm ever interested in talking to. It's the only person I'm ever interested in having sex with. It's the only person I'm ever interested in being married to. It's the only person that means anything. It's the only woman that means anything to me outside of my daughter. So for me, I'm bonded. I'm sealed with one person for the rest of my life. And that's all I'm gonna rock with. So it's a little different for me.
Some of this stuff is awesome for male improvement. I see what you're saying. You know, make money, make muscles, make game, MLD, shout out, like everything, like male improvement, awesome. But I really feel like what you're talking to are single men, like young single men. And the comments that I hear from like grown folks, kind of a thing, older, more, they're like, yeah, when you get married and you have kids, like some of this praxeology or ideology doesn't add up to me. This is what they're saying to me. And I say, well,
somebody said, Anton, in the chat, I see y'all just say, Anton, how long have you been married? I've been married for 18 going on, well, it'll be 19 years in less than 6 months. I've been married for 18 and a half plus years. I got married when I was 22 years old. I'm 40 now. Rita is 40 also. And I'm not doing it with nobody else. I'm not even interested. The only person that I'm rocking with is Rita. That's all I care about.
So when they say, well, when you have kids and you have 2 daughters, your perspective is just going to change a little bit versus like, fuck these hoes out here. Don't worry about like, I'm not, so, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting perspective. No, I know. But just to be clear, the benefits that the red pill community establishes and the knowledge that it preaches definitely outweigh.
So for those of you that ask in the chat, well, how, and it's funny because he's not saying nothing right at this particular moment. So we're going to come back to him in a minute. For a lot of y'all that then say, well, you know, what qualifies you to be able to speak on marriage or relationships? And it's funny because a lot of people then say stuff to me like, well, Anton, you've been only married to one person for over 18 years for the overwhelming majority of your adult life. But they be saying it to me like it's an insult. And I'm like, that's a compliment to me. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was having a conversation with me the other day and they said, yeah, this person said this. And I said, well, what do they do? And they said that they're a relationship coach. And they said that they spiritual and they are the church and they're a relationship coach. And I said, oh, okay. Well, how long they been married? They said they divorced, been divorced 3 times. And I'm like, well, why would you take relationship advice from somebody that's been divorced 3 times? Now, if you want to take insight and information on how it is that you can avoid finding yourself in certain situations, then that's one thing. But if you're looking to be successfully married, I'm going to give you the pros and the cons, and then I'm going to also give you the blueprint on how it is that you can be successfully married for your entire life. All 3 of my brothers, I got 3 brothers, all 3 of them married, no divorces, 1 time. All of my uncles, married, no divorces, 1 time. My mother, married until she was widowed and then got remarried within 2.5 years of becoming a widow. And the guy that she's married to, I very much love Craig. That is my guy. That's my dog. I was raised in this. I was groomed for it. It's almost like, you know, if you want to learn about basketball, you're going to talk to LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, and you're going to get the inside information. They're some of the greatest minds. I've been groomed for this. I've lived it. It's my life. It's what it is that I do for a living. So you can't insult me by saying, well, Anton has been married to one person for his entire life. That's what the fuck we trying to do here in the black community, ain't it?
Is the negatives. Okay, like I just want to be clear about that. But at the same time, I've never claimed to be the red pill guy, the red pill voice. I really appreciate talking to all these guys. I've talked to Rolo how many times on camera? I've done content with Fresh and Fit. Hell, we just interviewed Andrew Tate a few months ago. Okay, whether it's Coach Greg Adams
to the super chat shortly,
Donovan Sharp. We went at the CME. Like, these guys are awesome because at the end of the day, and there's different categories of red, like that's like to use politics, there's a moderate Democrat, there's a socialist Democrat, there's MAGA Republicans, there's just that, like there's different gamuts of the red pill community. But at the end of the day, I think what the fundamental message is guys, you need to improve. If you can improve your life, you can improve your status, improve your money, improve your wealth, improve your game, then the world's your oyster. But if you want to be a fucking loser, then hey, you could also do that too. So I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for.
No, you answered the question. Yeah.
So all right, do you want to respond to what
No, I was curious because like I'm always interested in other people's perspectives. So I was just curious to like what was.
See, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing. He's he's pandering a little bit, but I can see why he's pandering a little bit, and it's justified. And I'm with that because he's on another platform that gives him more visibility. So you have to kind of cater to whoever it is that you're rocking with because, it's a business relationship and it's networking. So Hafeez is not going to push back. He's not going to push back because he's on a bigger platform or a great platform. And then B, he's not going to push back because it's another man. I don't see Hafeez pushing back against another man, even if his lifestyle and his principles don't align with what Hafeez did. But what he did with Pearl is a completely different thing because he thought that he had a leg up on her. It's pretty interesting to see how that dynamic works.
Your perspective on it.
I guess let me ask you a question. So we're talking about the red pill here. So the red pill is commonly known as the truth. Like a lot of it came from the Matrix, right?
It's the study of human behavior.
Right. It's obviously red pill has blown up. We all know that. If you're not familiar with the red pill, you can look it up. It teaches the truth, intersexual dynamics, the study of evolutionary psychology, human behavior, all that kind of stuff like that. I will say that on one hand, on one side of things, a lot of people will say that misogyny and chauvinism and basically they put down women, but then on the other hand of the coin, it's no, this is male improvement, self-improvement. Who's going to get mad at improvement? So I'm just framing this question. From your perspective, what are the biggest flaws you see in the red pill space?
Yeah. So to me, I think the hardest thing and the part that I think when I talk about this, I make the biggest mistakes is the red pill means different things to so many people.
No, it doesn't.
And I've talked to like
the fundamental, the basics of red pill has nothing to do with relationships. Red pill is being aware. It's literally tied back to the movie The Matrix, right? And the idea of it is just, do you want to know what's really behind the curtain and what really happens, or do you just want to be sold this lie, this Instagram lie, the Derek Jackson lie, the lie that comes with society that tells you to do something but don't give you the pros and the cons and then enable you to be able to successfully get through it. Even your grandparents and your great-great-grandparents, they lied to you and said, happy wife, happy life. They lied to you and said that their marriage was blissful. They lied because all they did was cover up their dirt instead of giving you the game on how it is that you could be successfully married by telling you what they went through, what the issues were, why it is that they can overcome it. This is one of the reasons why I live my life like an open book. Not just so I can substantiate whether or not you should follow me or not, but also so you can learn from the successes, the failures, the issues, the problems, the greatness, the phenomenal situations. I want to display all of that so that you can get the insight and information and make your own informed decision. That is the fundamentals of what red pill is. It's opening your eyes and then removing the veil so that you'll know the nature of women, the nature of money, the nature of politics, the nature of people, and everything that goes along with life as a man so that you can have a fruitful, phenomenal, financially successful, and incredibly sexual life. That's the fundamentals of what red pill is.
8 different red pill creators, all 8 of them gave me a different answer. And so I don't want to get
and
too
I don't
lost
even
in the
consider
sauce
myself
here.
red pill. I'm just a real one.
But one of the things that we noticed was that there's a very much difference between traditional red pill and what we consider neo red pill.
Okay.
We
What is
we
this,
found
like
a little bit of a
feminism
difference between
for the
those
men?
two things.
Or something like
but
that?
to me, the primary issue I have is a representation of marriage. Because to me, like I said, I believe that family is the foundation of a society. If we don't have strong families, people are dependent upon the state. There'll be a lot of different issues. So I want to build as many strong
Now,
families.
he's right about that. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. In order for us to be able to build wealth within the black community, we have to have strong families. However, I'm not an advocate for running into a buzzsaw, thinking that it's a family. No, you're setting yourself up for failure if you don't go about doing it the right way. So I need people to come into it with the right mindset, actually wanting to do it, not being forced to by somebody that's giving them this fake doctrine that's not best for them. The fastest way to build wealth within any household, any family, the biggest financial decision that you make is the person that you lay next to. It's not the house you buy. It's not the business you start. It's not what it is that you grind for. The biggest financial decision that you ever make in your life, whether positive or negative, is the person that you decide that you want to lay next to.
As possible, and I truly believe deterring men from building families, that's something that hurts me, especially seeing how in the black community the breakdown of the family has decimated the community, and I want to find solutions instead of just focus on the problem.
Makes complete sense. So you're saying the biggest flaw within the red pill is their viewpoint on marriage. What do you think is the biggest benefit for learning the red pill content?
100%. So I would argue the best benefit is more traditional red pill versus neo red pill, but the best benefit is removing the delusion of that Disney Channel fantasy. You know, I think what happens is a lot of young men grow up with this Disney Channel fantasy. You find the one, you're gonna live happily ever after.
I don't disagree with him at all right now.
All women are angels. This delusion,
sugar and
right?
spice and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, men growing out of that delusion and that propaganda that was promoted through Disney Channel and Hollywood movies and stuff like that is extremely important for men to flourish and thrive in life.
So so you do think it's important though that men understand the drawbacks of marriage too, though?
100%, Pearl. 100%.
Okay. And you do think it's important that men should understand
and he never talks about it. So you can say that you agree with it, but he's just being agreeable so that he don't get a bunch of smoke on the other end. Because from what I seen when he was having a conversation with Coach Greg Adams, it was a completely different conversation. See, here's my question. I wonder if he would ever go back and have a debate with Coach. I wonder if he would jump back on the panel with Coach. See, he's quick to say yes to Pearl. I wonder if he would go back on the panel with Coach.
nature too.
100%. And
okay. so you would agree that this is really important.
Well, I would disagree. I will agree and disagree, Pearl.
Okay. Agree and disagree.
So my question to you is, who is the individual you're going to learn about male and female nature?
Mm-hmm. Me personally?
Who do you go to?
Her father.
Oh, mom and dad.
Yeah. Well, you go to your parents. What is he thinking? Instinctively, she don't even have to answer that question. He could have answered it for her. It was really a rhetorical question because the first thing that you learn or the first thing that you see from a relationship perspective subconsciously as a child and how it is that you're supposed to be treated or how you're going to view women is what you see your father and your mother and the interaction between them. It's not even a question.
Okay.
Shout out mom, shout out dad.
So that's where you learned.
Like initially, like when I was young, you mean now?
Like in regards to like the red pill, right? So
you're talking about red pill.
Yes,
I thought you meant like, okay.
Yeah, because obviously like you've come to a transformation from my understanding. So when you're talking about men learning about male and female nature, I'm curious to you, where do you go to learn about male and female nature in regards to the space?
Gosh, you learn a lot just from doing the freaking shows.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know how many girls cap on the show? Oh my God. Like, I feel like I really started to understand the red pill just from like interviewing people.
Yeah.
Because 4 days a week, 7 people in the studio.
Of course.
Like, oh my, it changes your life. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's the biggest lesson you've taken away from interviewing all these people, especially women?
Women, like, we just say things. And, like, half the time, like, we don't even know what we want. Because it's like a girl will come on and say, oh, I like nice guys, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I saw your ex-boyfriend. I know who you dated. Like, okay, this one girl, I'll give you a story. Go ahead,
give us a story.
This girl came on the show, right? She was so pretty, so nice.
Give me a second. Who was that? Hold on.
Whatever. And the whole show.
Shout out to Yvette. Yvette says, love the big bro Anton and the beautiful sis Rita. We love you, Yvette. You know we rock with you. Also, John Doe is in the building, says, according to Pearl, CJ and TLA were supposed to be on this panel and Hafeez declined. Ooh-wee. I'm waiting for my invite. I need to get my invite. I could talk about the money. I could show my bank account. I'm willing to talk about the relationship. I got the wife and the time put in to prove it. I'm willing to talk about children. I have a phenomenal daughter. I could talk about it all. Shout out to Compton Mania is in the building. What up to Compton Mania? I love you, big dog. Says, dope jacket, Anton. Thank you. Just a little bit of the new drip collection that we putting together. 2023, we said we not slacking even a little bit. We all on their heads.
She was talking about how she only dates like, the nice guys, like da-da-da-da-da. After the show, this like, my recruiter brought his friend and he'd literally been to jail. He took her home that night. So I was like, the biggest lesson to me was just like, this is madness. We just say things.
So, okay. So Listen.
And I will say, not every woman, not all women, but it's just like, I feel like that's like part of it.
The reason why I asked you that question initially is I'm asking in regards to like, when you said learn about male and female nature, I'm saying like, let's say outside of the content, because you obviously learned about it. Where did you go? Like, what was the
like
book?
Growing up?
Like, I mean, like, you like from my understanding, you came to a conclusion about like, man, society is getting crazy. Where did you learn that from? Was there a book? Was there a video?
Oh my gosh, you've been to a college campus?
Okay,
Society's getting crazy?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh my gosh, when I went to college and I saw that they put these dudes in our dorms and they're saying that they were women. What do you mean?
So from my understanding, you came to your, as they call it, red pill awareness from life.
Well, it was a mix. So it was partially just from, like, I would say I was more like blue pilled before. I didn't really, I never thought about things from the men's perspective, but there was a couple pivotal moments. One was going to a pickup artist conference.
You told me about
that.
that.
Yeah, that I was like, oh my gosh, these girls that are like 2s are rejecting the 5s and harshly. So that kind of like puts you in a men's point of view, because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe like what that. Second thing, the rest.
You elaborate on who you think is, I don't know, you're saying like who's really doing the red pill right, and then who's sort of hijacking the red pill. Like, just clarify what you mean by the old school versus the new school red pill content creators.
No problem. So Chris Williamson talks a lot about it. Shout out to Chris Williamson.
Who's Chris Williamson?
And respond to your messages. Hamza talks about this as well. So what happened is a lot of people, the red pill, it originated in the chat rooms. So the message boards, the chat rooms. So a lot of people who were the initial red pill thought leaders, they were writers, because you had to write in the chat rooms.
Which ones? I'm just curious.
So obviously Rollo was probably the most popular ones, and if I'm being completely honest, it was so long ago I didn't really know their names. I would just read some.
You were in the chat rooms?
Of course, of course.
Okay, so you were in the chat room with Rollo?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't in the chat rooms with Rollo. So long story short, the reason why I'm so passionate about this subject matter is because I was like so many guys. Man, I was struggling with relationships. I had to move back home multiple times. Like the typical, average guy who's struggling in life, that was a lot of times my story. So I would seek out wisdom in many different areas.
And now the student has become the teacher.
I started off with a lot of Christian masculinity content. So in the year 2009, there was a Christian renaissance that created a lot of masculinity content. So I was consuming all kinds of content for a long period of time.
Hey, somebody said that the likes is down.
And during that time, I also stumbled upon the red pill message boards. And so the original content creators in red pill message boards, they were writers, a little bit more thoughtful, and a lot of them would quote at times evolutionary biologists.
Shout out to Ken Billions. Hit me with the Happy New Year to you and your family. Happy New Year to you and your family also, my friend. I hope that this year you make a lot more money and you make even more billions and billions of dollars. Shout out to Ken Billions is in the building.
They would quote a lot of these studies that came from Pew Research, Gallup, and things along those lines. So those were the traditionalists. A lot of the neo-red pillars, from my personal experiences, they don't quote the primary sources, which are the evolutionary biologists, the historians, the relationship therapists,
Rob
and the
Henderson.
studies. Huh?
Rob Henderson. Right?
What about Rob?
No, I was saying like that's one of them, right? Is that?
Oh, Rob Henderson is one of what?
Oh, the people that you like to see quoted. I thought you said that last time. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Rob isn't red pill, so that's a little bit different.
No,
but
I meant you said the evolutionary biology.
Oh yeah, like person like Rob.
I
don't think Rob is evolution biologist in my opinion, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
So
I thought you said him last time.
No problem. And so, but the neo red pillars, they don't go to the primary source. They usually quote other red pillars, so they will quote statistics and of other people versus going to the primary sources. And so to me, that's why I distinguish those two different things. And a lot of the neo red pillars, they came to content creation in a time when it was very profitable to make content. So the one,
I'm not gonna lie, just not interested in watching him talk anymore. Can I be honest with y'all? Can I just be absolutely positively honest? Just not interested in hearing what he's saying anymore. It's just like after listening to him for an hour, just get fucking repetitive, and it's just like it's not that he's saying anything wrong that I may or may not disagree with at this moment. Just not interested in hearing what it is that he has to say. It's just not. It's just not entertaining anymore for me. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just this year I said that I'm gonna be direct and I'm gonna be absolutely honest. I'm not gonna sit here and do anything more than I have to do, simply because I feel like I have to do it. I'm gonna do it when I like it, when I want to, and when I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm gonna walk away from it. And so I'm walking away from it because it's just not. The shit is not entertaining anymore, man. Like, I'm not telling y'all to not follow the roommates. I'm telling y'all that I don't subscribe to the roommates because that shit is just not hitting for me. So, sorry. Make sure y'all tap into the Alpha Juice Company. Discount code Anton. The link is in the description and head it to their website. And then make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I just dropped an exclusive interview today. It's way more entertaining than what it is that you was just seeing from Hafeez. Shout out to Stanley Douglas. Said, I'm definitely going to rock out with that Alpha Juice, big dog. It's phenomenal. Seriously. When you taste it, you're going to be like, this is called the late night text. This is for my ladies. This is the forbidden fruit. It's the forbidden fruit right there. You can see that. Say forbidden fruit. This is a Make America Juice Again right here. So I like all of them. I think that they're absolutely awesome. Make sure y'all tap in. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to subscribe to the channel, hitting a like for the YouTube algorithm on your way out the door. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you share this with your friend, family, and friends. Yes, and Alpha Juice is sugar-free. There is no added anything in here. No added anything. It's 100%. You can read all about it on the website. Just click the website when you get ready to buy. Make sure you hit in discount code Anton. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.